Good morning, Bucknutters. Welcome to the Bucknuts Morning Five here on Friday, March 8th, 2019. I am Dave Biddle, very happy to be joined by Jonah Booker for his usual Friday visit. JBook, I'm going to be going to practice here. I'm going to leave like right after we do the show here this morning. The first day is in the books a couple days ago. What has stood out to you so far?
Yeah, I'm just so fired up. The football's back, baby. Just getting reports of guys out there running around and seeing some of the new guys, but just naming a couple guys off the top of my head that really look good. You obviously have to throw Jalen Gill's name out there. Almost every reporter who covers Ohio State mentioned him as a guy that really looks like he's going to be the next heir apparent of one of the dynamic wide receivers in this offense. And just looking at some of the clips and the reports about him, I'm very excited about what he's going to bring to the table. But for me, one of the really good feel-good stories with this Ohio State football program is having Branden Bowen back out there. All reports and indications are he's in the best shape of his life. Obviously, he's been through a lot with that gruesome injury. It's put him out of football for quite some time. And just having him out there repping with the first team tackles with their Mumford out is massive for this football team, considering he's the old man of the group. He's a guy that has experience within the program. So just having him out there and looking like he's going to be a solid contributor for this offense is going to be huge for the program. They're obviously on defense. They mentioned a lot of the linebackers that are looking pretty good out there, which is going to be much needed. And Taraja Mitchell out there running with Dallas Gant, that second team off defensive line or defensive linebackers with Kayvon Pope. That's something I'm looking at because there's going to be competition much needed at that linebacker spot. Obviously, Malik Harrison's he's going to be on the field at all times, but we got to find some bodies back there. So I'm very excited that spring ball is happening. But those are some of the names that really jumped out at me the first day. Hopefully, when you get some reports coming back from the second day, we can get some more names that are starting to show out.
Yeah, I'll have a practice report up on the site here within a couple hours. I mean, it depends on when you're listening to the site or when you're listening to the show here. It could be already up on the site. So make sure you're checking Bucknuts all day. Myself, Patrick Murphy, Steve Hellwagon, all going to be at practice this morning. And then afterwards, we're going to get a chance. This is a huge day for practice because we're going to get a chance to watch the first hour of practice, which is basically half of practice. And then we get to watch then we get to interview Mike Yurcich, the new offensive coordinator. I should say the new passing game coordinator, quarterbacks coach. And then we get to interview the quarterbacks. We get to interview Justin Fields. We get to interview Matthew Baldwin. Chugginoff. I don't know if they're going to bring out Benatsky or not, the walk-on, but we're going to interview Justin Fields and Matthew Baldwin and Chugginoff, and looking forward to interviewing Justin Fields again. We got to interview him about a month ago on the late signing day. I believe that was February 6th. So about a month and 2 days later, get to interview Justin Fields. I'm glad you brought up Branden Bowen. That was I agree with you so much, JBook. That was huge seeing Branden Bowen out there. He played so well 2 years ago as a starter before he got hurt. Missed a year and a half of football. I think that's huge that he's back. And if he can solidify right tackle for Ohio State, that is huge. But pushing it forward, looking at the quarterbacks, again, this is going to be the quarterback day with getting a chance to interview all these quarterbacks. Justin Fields, you saw the film that we posted. Just what are your thoughts so far on Justin Fields?
Obviously, he still needs to get comfortable with the offense, but you can see the God-given talent is dripping off of him. The guy has potential out of this world. It's just going to be him building that rapport with his skill position players, learning the offense, and just going at the tempo that they want to play at. And the one thing that you notice about Justin Fields, as Ryan Day had mentioned, he's a very smart, very intelligent guy. He picks up things fairly fairly well. So just having him being here early is going to be monumental for this football team. And I think just having him getting that report, and the thing that you're looking at is he ran mostly with the first team. Obviously, you're going to have a battle there. You want to have a fair and open competition, but just having Justin Fields just being out there with his guys is going to be huge. He is the quote unquote leader in the heart of this football team. This team goes how he goes, and if he can perform at that high level, then this football team has a chance to be in contention for a Big Ten championship again.
You know what's interesting? Like James Laurinaitis knows what's going on with his teams. When he says Baron Browning is going to be an outside linebacker, I believe James Laurinaitis. And then we're out there at practice, and Baron was repping in the middle. But guys were moving around a lot, and I caution people about that. Like, just because you see somebody out there repping with the ones for a certain rep, don't assume that guy's a first teamer. Just because somebody's repping at middle linebacker that one play, that doesn't mean the coach has decided that's the only position he's going to play. A lot of people on Bucknuts, like readers, subscribers, listeners to the Bucknuts Morning Five have asked about this. What's the real deal with Baron Browning? Because I think James Laurinaitis is right. I think he's going to be an outside linebacker. But then we're out there as the media the other day, and he's working with the middle linebackers. What do you think is going to happen with Baron Browning?
I think it'd be a situation where James Laurinaitis, the information that he's getting, obviously that information is coming directly from within the Woody Hayes facility. So
No doubt.
James Laurinaitis is not just going to go on his own show and just spew something off the top of his head. The reports that he's getting is coming directly from inside the facility. Obviously, it's the first day of practice. You have a new defensive coaching staff there. Baron Browning got reps at the Mike linebacker during the season. They want to get a look at him to see what he's going to do. Greg Madison has already said that they're going to have multiple looks when it comes to their defense, and especially at the linebacker position. You could see a situation where you have two Mikes out there on the field at the same time, and with them having the hybrid position with the safety / linebacker position on the field, they're going to try to mix and match their right personnel depending on what team that they're going to face. So I would not take too much into it with Baron Browning repping at the Mike, because tomorrow you can see him at the outside linebacker position. You can see him at the hybrid position. If they're going against a Wisconsin style offense, you can see the bigger style linebackers with Tough Borland in there and the other bigger backers flanking him. If it's a spread offense, you can see a situation where Baron Browning is at the Mike with Malik Harrison flanking him, with Brendan White flanking him. So it's just a situation where they've already made it clear heading into camp that they're going to be a multiple look defense. They're going to be dynamic. They're going to have multiple guys playing. And I think the situation is they need to go ahead and make sure that they're finding their top 5 to 6 linebackers. The one thing I would caution at is, please do not take reps from Taraja Mitchell. I think he is a potential star in the making, and he's already running with the twos, but I would not mind seeing him getting as many reps as possible. Get his confidence up, teach him the ropes as far as learning that defense. Obviously, James Laurinaitis felt that from his sources that Tough Borland should not have even been playing last year coming off that injury. It was way too fresh. So my question is are we going to see a better Tough Borland this year? Because he did not play at the potential that he obviously should have. So I think right now you have, highly 4 and 5 star guys in that linebacker room. They want to see what they can find as the best fit. But I would caution, as you mentioned, it's the first day. Let's see how things actually play out once we get into fall camp.
Yeah, I love Taraja Mitchell too. And I love anything we can get from Little Animal, James Laurinaitis. Little Animal doesn't really do him justice anymore. I know it's obviously because his dad is the animal and he's Little Animal, but yeah, anything he says, I basically take as gospel. And yeah, Taraja Mitchell, he looks like a beast out there. I can't wait to see him out there again today. Before I let you go, so Brendan White has his breakout season last year. You know, we wait like 9 games, takes Jordan Fuller getting ejected for Brendan White to finally get a chance. He gets like 13 tackles and a half of football against Nebraska. Rose Bowl MVP. Looks like he's going to be another, the next star safety at Ohio State. And now, he's repping with the linebackers. I know it's because they're going to use kind of more of a hybrid linebacker, what they call the Viper at Michigan with Peppers and with Hudson. Hudson's still at Michigan. But Hudson's like 220 pounds. I know Peppers was kind of a different guy, even though I've always thought he was overrated. I mean, he was always better in the box than he was in coverage. But Brendan White, I kind of liked him at strong safety. I guess it really doesn't matter. I mean, if he's going to be kind of a hybrid, it really doesn't matter. Just your thoughts on Brendan White and Jocelyn Went repping with the linebackers the other day.
I love it because I think it's going to provide an opportunity for Brendan White to really put his name on the map. I mean, even though Jabril Peppers was highly overrated, he still flashed at times in that Viper position. And with the talent and the athleticism that White brings to the table, he's going to have a potential to make a lot of plays. If a lot of people's wondering what the Viper position is, kind of thinking of a position with Darren Lee as the walkout linebacker, to where they're going to ask a lot of those guys. They're going to ask them to be in coverage. They're going to ask them to play in the box. They're going to ask them to get after quarterback. You could see them lining up on the line of scrimmage on third and long type of situation. But with today's game, with a lot of teams spreading you out and they're going to hurry up, it's imperative that you can have a guy that can play either role. I know the Arizona Cardinals did it a lot with Tyrann Mathieu going down in the box, and that's a situation where they really use his athleticism to get after the quarterback when needed be. And I think Brendan White can excel at that. Jocelyn Wentz going to be interesting because I don't think he has the hips to play back there in the deep safety. He's playing closer to the line of scrimmage, which he did in high school. I wouldn't mind seeing Isaiah Pryor also getting some reps down there. But the one thing it really does for me is I think we're about to see a guy that turns into a star, which is Josh Proctor. Because with Jordan Fuller being out this spring, and then with the hybrid position emerging, you're going to see a lot of guys back there at the safety position that really hasn't made a name for themselves. We had it on our boarding house that Alex Grinch was extremely high on Josh Proctor. He was pushing hard for him to get playing time, and he was overruled by Greg Schiano and Urban Meyer because they didn't feel like Josh Proctor was ready, but Alex Grinch was sold on him. And from what I've been told from others, they believe that Josh Proctor was ready to play last year. And I think this spring, we're really going to see him emerge. And then this fall camp, he's going to put his name on the map as well.
Yeah, I'll just throw it out there. It was Grinch that told me at Rose Bowl Media Day when I had a one-on-one interview with him at the very end that Proctor, he said, write this down, Proctor will be a star at Ohio State. So I'll just throw it out there. We're not supposed to say whose item was whose in the boarding house. That was mine. So hopefully Alex Grinch is right. If he's wrong, we can say, well, now he's elsewhere. He's at Oklahoma, so it's his fault for saying that. No, but Proctor out there, JBook, was looking really good the other day. He had a really good pass breakup. He's active, and with Brendan White now moving to linebacker, I can see the starting safeties very easily being Jordan Fuller. Obviously, Jordan Fuller is going to be one, but I can see the starting safety beating Jordan Fuller and Josh Proctor.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to be very interested to see how they actually allow this to play out because are they going to do a two deep safety? They could have some looks where Jordan Fuller is the middle field safety there where they're crowding the box. So it's going to be a type of defense to where we could see multiple looks here. I would caution is please do not overload these kids. We saw it last year with Greg Schiano. It was paralysis by analysis. Guys were thinking way too much and not reacting fast enough. They say that this defense is going to be simplified to where they want guys to be flying from A to B as fast as possible and just getting to the football. But it's going to with the safety position, it's going to be wide open. This is going to be a huge opportunity for that back end to really make a name for themselves for the spring. I mean, I can't remember. It's been so long that we had so many green guys back there at the safety position where anyone can emerge. I mean, obviously Jordan Fuller is going to be the starter come fall, but right now there's a perfect time to get as many reps for those younger guys so that you can build up that depth there, because right now they have a lot to prove in that secondary. They did not live up to the expectations. And Tim May had tweeted out after the report that the defensive backs were getting flagged for holding penalties quite a bit in that first practice. And I think that's just going to be a situation where Hafley's going to have to break that out of those guys. There was a lot of bad coaching with the defensive coaches last year when it comes to technique and holding penalties and not finding the football, not getting your head around. So Hafley coaching the entire secondary, he has a lot on his plate. But the main thing is, before you can really teach a proper scheme, you have to get the basic fundamentals down, and just breaking those guys of their bad habits that they had from last year is going to be priority number one.
Great insights as always from Jonah Booker here on Friday. Thank you very much, JBook. Very much appreciate it. And thank you to our listeners out there for tuning in the show. Appreciate that as well. Hope everyone has a great day and a great weekend. Let's try the Buckeye swag, best damn band in the land.